Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Belmont Park here on Monday. It's the 3rd of July, 2023. We're going to look at all the races on Monday's program from Belmont. But before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world. And join me this upcoming Saturday for my Belmont Derby preview here from Belmont. It's closing weekend from Belmont, so it's going to be some excellent racing tomorrow and Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I hope you join me for those previews. But we're going to look at all the races. Like I said, if you watched my video for Friday's card that eventually was canceled from Belmont, I said I want to, it's kind of a pilot program for me. I just want to see, I'm going to look at all the races today, maybe later in the week from Belmont, and see how I like it. And maybe as we get to Saratoga for every day of the Saratoga meeting, I look at all the races for the spa. So, it's a work in progress. Maybe I do it, maybe I don't. I just want some feedback from you guys. So just comment below if I should do it. But let's look at the first of 9. We did get some wet weather right after the Belmont card. The turf courses might have some slight moisture in it, but we haven't had wet weather basically here in New York, like significant rain since Preakness Day. So that's almost 2 months ago now. So these turf courses are rock hard and lightning fast. So they could use a little bit of water, but I don't think we've had that substantial water yet. But we're going to look at the first 9. Let's get to it right now. Before I go any further, this video almost didn't happen because I lost power for most of the afternoon. I was at Belmont this afternoon, came back, and I had no power because the wet weather. But let's get to the opener from Belmont. Let's make some money here. It's allowance optional claimer purse, $105,000. Race for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upwards, never won. 18,000, blah, 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 blah. We all know the conditions. Field 6 horses in MTOs. 5 will go 1,200 meters or 6 furlongs on the inner turf course. Portable rails are up to 27 feet. My top selection, I'm going to go with the 4 horse, A Day in Asia. I'm going to go 4-1-3-5 in the superfecta. 4-1-3-5 super. Top selection, the 4 horse, A Day in Asia. Christophe Clement trains one. Flavian Pratt gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came stateside. First start stateside came on the 3rd of June at Woodbine. 6.5 furlongs in the Royal North Stakes. Shouldn't say first start stateside because it was the horse's first start in North America. It was up in Canada in the Royal North. And the horse finished 5th by 3 1/4 lengths that day. And he just kind of sat back early, a little bit wide. And, she moved a little bit late, but it wasn't anything to call home about. I do think she needed the race. Coming here to a quicker pace, 6 furlongs and a little faster ground, I think she could run a better race and win. Prior to that trend, the 7th of September at Doncaster, 7 furlongs in the Group 3 Skeptree Stakes. She finished 7th by 5 1/4 lengths that day, and she just never really got going from the back. She was on the drive, just not excelling. It wasn't her day to win. And then at York on the 18th of August in a Class 2 handicap, she won by a length that day. She had a good, weight that day of 127 pounds, and the horse she beat that day was quite handicapped up there. But this horse, she didn't break so well, had a very troubled trip early on, but she settled well, she quickened up, and she went away with it late. A very good run there. And the Sugar Cup handicap, a Class 2 handicap at Ask on over the 6th on the 6th of August. She won by 3/4 length again, sitting back early. She circled the field late, and she went away with it. A very good run. She's only making her second start around the turn a little bit. If you look at some of her races where she did go around turns in the UK, there were few and far between. They have in the racing form York as a 7 furlong one turn, a 2-turn race or a turn race. It's barely a turn. It's basically like the Widener turf course here at Belmont if they weren't going to go around the far turn, going a miles. That's like the kind of bend they have. So I wouldn't even call that a 2-turn, a turn race. Even Bath I wouldn't call like that. The only kind of real race in the UK that she ran around a turn was at Wolverhampton back in the winter of 2020. But coming here today at 8-5, she could definitely win. She's training well at Saratoga. A horse for the pick 5 would be the 1-horse mail order for Belmont and Jose Lascano. Hasn't been seen since the autumn days at Aqueduct. 6 furlongs out of turf course, 27th of November. The horse finished 8th by 9 1/4 lengths that day. She didn't break so well, was a little bit wide, and she just couldn't keep up with horses on that afternoon. Refreshing here, hopefully breaking better. I think the horse could get it off the bench. 2 back at Aqueduct, 6 furlongs late September and off 62. She won by a length, and from a tracking trip, she quickened up nicely and came home with it. An 8-9 buyer. It was tied best for her career that day. And then Saratoga on the Melon going 5.5 and off 62. She finished 3rd by 5 lengths. She had to be quarter horsed out of the gate because she hit it going out of it, and I think that took a lot out of her in the lane. It just wasn't her day to win there. But coming here to Belmont, she could definitely win. I'll use her in the pick 5. But to recap my selection for the opener from Belmont, going to take the 4-horse A Day in Asia. Give kudos to the 1-horse mail order, 4135 Super. Let's go 4-1 in the pick 5, the early pick 5 here. The second race from Belmont, it is a maiden claiming event going for a purse $47,000. Race for maidens, fillies, mares, 3-year-olds and upwards, going for a claim price $40,000. We have a field here of 11 horses enter. 10 and 11 are MTOs, so 9 will go to the Widener turf course, 1,400 meters or 7 furlongs on the Widener. Gonna take the 3-horse Just a Splash as a top selection. Let's go 3-1-8-4 in the superfecta. 3-1-8-4 super top selection of 3-horse Just a Splash. 3-year-old followed by See the Stars. Tony Dutro trains. Trevor McCarthy gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 24th of June, so it was on a bit of a quick turnaround here at Belmont. 1 mile Widener turf course in main special weight 90,000. And the horse finished ninth by 8 1/4 lengths that day, and he was with them early on. He just kind of hit the wall late, a little lackadaisical. It wasn't his day to win. I think getting some serious class relief down to a main 40 today should really suit him well. He could sit close on this turf course. A little bit of a cutback should suit him well. I think he's in a better spot to finally get the maiden victory. Two back he ran on the 11th of February at Tampa, mile 16th in Maine, 25,000, and the horse finished 7 by 4 1/4 lengths that day, and he was just wide and just never really showed up. It wasn't his day to win. And then at Aqueduct on the 22nd of October, mile 16th in the main special weight, the horse finished 4th by 4 1/4 lengths that day, and again, he just was never really comfortable around 2 turns, cutting back and tripped to a 1 turn 7 furlongs, training well. I think it's a better spot for him. The 1-horse Night Saber for Horacio de Paz and Ira Ortiz are second likeliest winner. Since coming back to the green stuff, the horse has really done wonders. Most recently, on the 2nd of June, 6 furlongs on the Widener in a main 40,000. The horse finished 5th by 3 1/4 lengths that day, and he just kind of stalked. He needed something more, but he ran his heart out that day. And then prior to that, a mile here in mid-May at a main 4,000, he finished 4th by 2 1/4 lengths and just kind of hit the wall late, but he ran his heart out. Another horse going back to 7 should suit him well. He could definitely win off of his buyers in this race. Let's use him in that pick 5. But to recap my selection for the second from Belmont, I'm going to take the 3-horse Just a Splash. Give kudos to the 1-horse Night Saber. 3-1-8-4 Super. 3-1 in your multi-race. The third event from Belmont now. It is allowance race, purse $80,000, race fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards, state breds here. Field of 6 horses going 1,600 meters or a mile on the main track, the first dirt race of the afternoon. My top selection, I'm going to go with the 4-horse April Antics. I'm going to go 4-3-2-6 in the superfecta. 4-3-2-6 super, top selection 4-horse April Antics. This 5-year-old mare by MC here, Mercantan Cantamarci trains this one. Jose Lascano gets to mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 4th of June at Belmont, a mile and claiming 25,000. Stepping up in class, he finished 2nd by 4 lengths that day, and he had a bit of a wide balcony Belmont trip that day. He didn't win off of it, but he was gaining that day. He is stepping up to an allowance race here today, but a lot of these horses are stepping up to allowance company today, and I think, he could get a good trip to win. It's not the quality isn't, it's not the most deepest quality group of horses, so, it doesn't bother me at all that he's stepping up in class. I think his buyers definitely have to scratch to win against these horses. 2 back and claiming 14 at Aqueduct in the slop, 1 mile, 23rd of April. He finished 3rd by 3 1/2 lengths that day, and he's just a little bit wide. He was a little bit drifting. Maybe he didn't like the wet track when he runs on it. He has 1 victory on it, but it's just not his preferred, surface. And then claiming 16 at Aqueduct, 1 mile in mid-April, early April. The horse won by 3 1/4 lengths that day, and basically from a tracking trip, he was a little bit wide, but when he got to the front end, he took off clear. A very, very good run there. And then mid-March at Aqueduct, 1 mile, claiming 16. He finished 2nd by 5 lengths that day. He didn't break so well, but he was really gaining that day. Fruitian, who won that day, was the next star winner, and of course, he was the next star winner, April Antics. But coming here today, training well since the last run, she could definitely win. The 3-horse Harlan Bound could definitely win also for Ira Ortiz Jr. and David Donk. Most recently in a claiming 40 on the slop, going 7 furlongs on the 20th of May. The horse finished 4th by 7 1/4 lengths that day, and just never really showed up. Prior to that, they tried the horse in a state-bred allowance race on the lawn at Aqueduct, where she just never really got going. And then she ran on the dirt in an optional 50 at Aqueduct, where she never really got going. But if she runs a race like her main victory, she could definitely win here today. I'm going to give her another shot here today back to Belmont. She has some speed. It wouldn't surprise me if she steals it on the front end. Speed looked like it was really nicely holding on Sunday here at Belmont. But to recap my selection for the third from Belmont, I'm going to take the 4-horse April Antics. Give kudos to the 3-horse Harlan's Bound. 4-3-2-6 Super. 4-3 in your multi-race. The fourth event now from Belmont. It's a claiming event going for a purse $39,000. Race for 3-year-olds and upwards. Never won through races here. Claim price $25,000. 7 horses are going 1,600 meters or a mile on the Belmont main track. Going to take as a top selection here Chiquitico. I'm going to go 5713 in the superfecta. 5713 super top selection, and shall I say would be, I think is my best bet of the day. The 5-horse Chiquitico. This 4-year-old gelding by FedBiz. Oscar Barrera the third trains this one. Gets Castillo up in the saddle. The horse's most recent outing came 4th of June at Belmont. A mile 16th, claiming 25,000, and he finished third by 2 lengths that day. And he just kind of stalked that day. He had the lead. He got caught, but he didn't go down without a fight. I thought he ran his heart out that day, cutting back in trip, back to claiming 25s. I think he'd get the trip to win. The 13th of May was his previous race at Aqueduct, 1 mile and a claim 25 non-3-0, and the horse finished 7th by 21 1/4 lengths that day. Out of the gate, they kind of took up a little bit. He lost some position, and he just never really recovered. It just wasn't his day to win there. And then mid-April at Aqueduct, 1 mile and a claim 25, he won by 5 1/4 lengths, and from a tracking trip, he got to the front end, he quickened up, and he went away with it. A very good race. That race, if he runs a quarter of that race, he could definitely win against his horses. You know, he ran mid-April before that 1 mile and a claim 25, where he finished third by 1 3/4 lengths, where I think he needed a little bit more, but he ran his heart out. Coming here today off some decent runs locally, you know, he's been close but no cigar. He's training well. I think he's on the up and up to run again a good race here. I love him at 8-1. He's my horse to blow up this pick 5. I think a horse to complete the exact. I'm definitely doing the 5-7 exact here. The 7-horse Cumberland Blues for Joel Rosario and Orlando Noda, dropping down from a claiming 35 to a claiming 25. Most recently on the lawn in that claiming 35 here at Belmont, going a mile 16th on the Widener. He finished 8th by 19 lengths that day and just didn't show up. He's not a turf horse. Back to dirt where he likes running. He should be in a better spot. Prior to that, in claim 25 at Belmont, a mile 16th, 4th of June, he finished 2nd by 1 3/4 lengths. He was a little bit wide, but he was gaining that day. Not the world's worst race for him. And then on the 13th of May, 1 mile and claim 25. Another weird race that a lot of these horses are coming out of. He finished 6th by 22 lengths that day, and he just never was comfortable that day. You know, he ran before that off the turf on the slop at Aqueduct closing weekend. It was a very sloppy track. Horses were either handling it or weren't. He wasn't handling it there, but he won prior to that mid-March at Aqueduct, 1 mile and claim 25, winning by 3/4 length from a tracking trip. He went away with it. If he gets that tracking trip, he could definitely win here. You know, at 3-1, let's use him. I'm definitely going to do, like I said, 5-7 exacta. I don't know if I'm going to do exacta box here, but those two are definitely going to go on the ticket because I think it's this is a key race for that pick 5 or the pick 4, whatever you decide to play. Both pick 4s. I believe there's a pick 4 that begins with race 3. So you know, decide which one you want to play. But to recount my selection for the 4th from Belmont, going to take the 5-horse Chiquitico. Give kudos to the 7-horse Cumberland Blues. Where are we? 5-7-1-3 super. 5-7 in your multi race. Let's get to the 5th event from Belmont, which is main special weight purse $75,000 race for maidens, fillies, and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards, state breds here. Field of 15 horses, including a part of an entry going to post. The distance of ground of 1,600 meters or a mile on the Widener turf course. Rails are down again. My top selection, I'm going to go take the number 8 horse, Spinning Colors. I'm going to go 8-6-10-5 in the superfecta. 8-6-10-5 super. Top selection, 8 horse, Spinning Colors. 3-0 for the by Hartspun. Mark Henning trains. John Velazquez, the veteran, gets them out. The horse's most recent outing came 27th of May at Belmont. 7 furlongs in the Widener turf course in main special weight 75,000. The horse needed the race. He finished 4th by 1 3/4 lengths that day. He didn't show a lot of speed early on. He was a little bit wide. He moved a little bit late, but he still needed something. Refreshing here, off a run, second off the bench. You know, getting Johnny V up shouldn't be a problem. I think he could get a good race and win today. His previous race came on the 27th of November at Aqueduct, 6 furlongs in main special weight. He finished 7th by 21 1/4 lengths that day. Came home with a 1 buyer. He absolutely did not do any running that day. I don't know if he liked the dirt that afternoon in late November. He tried running on the turf before that, but he got rained off, run on a muddy Aqueduct main track, 6 furlongs in main special weight. He finished 4th by 6 1/4 lengths that day, and he just kind of hit the wall late. And then Saratoga, 6 furlongs in main special weight. He finished 7th by 9 1/4 lengths, a little bit wide, and he just kind of hit the wall. I think coming here to a speed favoring turf course, you know, he's in a better spot, and I think he could, you know, improve off that last run. At 10-1, I'm going to use him. I think your second likeliest winner here is the number 6 horse Splashy for Christoph Kaman and Flavian Pratt. First start on turf, but training on it quite nicely at Saratoga. But most recently ran the 21st of May here at Belmont on the dirt, 7 furlongs in main special weight, where he finished 6 by 12 and 3/4 lengths that day, and he was just a little bit wide and just kind of hit the wall. I do think, coming to turf today, showing that pace, he could definitely win. 2 back 6th of April, 6 furlongs in main special weight at Aqueduct. He finished 8th by 11 lengths, and again, he just wasn't keeping up, but he's also drawn wide in both those races. He's not nearly as wide today, and I think that should suit him well. Most recent workout on the Oklahoma training turf, 5/8 mile drill, 102 and 4/5 of the second, 7th best workout of 8, and then a main track work, half mile, 50 and 3, the 31st best workout out of 44. Coming here today, he could definitely win, and also give a shot to the 10 horse Soretta for James Bond and Torres. Most recently in a main special here on the 3rd of June, he finished second by 1/4 lengths and had the lead and got caught late, but he didn't go down without a fight. I thought he ran an effort there, and then before that, in a main special going 6th at Aqueduct, he finished 3rd. He was closing up well, but he still needed that extra furlong. Coming here to a nearly 1 turn mile, watch out for him in this very wide open get out leg of the pick 5. But to recap my selection for the 5th from Belmont, I'm going to take the 8 horse here, Spinning Colors. Give kudos to the 6 horse Splashy and the 10 horse Soretta. 8, 6, 10, 5 Super. 8, 6, 10 in your multi race. Let's get to race number 6 from Belmont, the beginning of the late pick 4. The 6th event from Belmont, it's a state bred allowance race going for a purse of $80,000, race for 3-year-olds and upwards, state breds here. Field of 8 horses going to the main track, the distance of ground of 1,600 meters or a mile on the Belmont main track. My top selection, I'm going to go with the number 4 horse, Pineapple Man. Let's go 4-5-1-2 in the superfecta. 4-5-1-2 super, top selection of 4 horse, Pineapple Man. 4-year-old colt by Gormley. Mike Maker trains, Dylan Davis gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 29th of May at Belmont. 6 furlongs in a state bred allowance race for $80,000, and the horse finished 5th by 8.5 lengths that day, and 5.5 lengths, and he was just a little bit wide, and he just never really got going. I shouldn't say a little bit wide; he was very wide. He's breaking for post 9 and 9. I do think the trip was just a little bit too short. Going to a longer trip here today. He has hidden form that could win this race. I would also like to see him, kind of be a little bit forwardly paced. If he could be forwardly paced, he could win here today. 2 back in the state bred allowance race here at Belmont, 6.5 on the 6th of May. He finished 2nd by 3.5 lengths that day, and he just kind of stalked that day. He couldn't catch the winner who just had the jump on him. But he ran out there decently. And then the Ohio Derby at Thistle, mile length, 25th of June last year. He finished 7th by 15 3/4 lengths that day. He was setting the pace, but then completely crumbled. He wasn't keeping up with those horses. It wasn't the world's steepest Ohio Derby, but still, it just wasn't, with that caliber. Prior to that, that was his probably the race prior was his last great effort. It came in a state bred allowance race here at Belmont over the mile, where he finished 2nd by 3.5 lengths. He didn't have the best beginnings where he was bumped around, but he was really gaining late. He had the lead, and then he got caught, but he didn't go down without a fight. He ran his heart out there. And then the last time Dylan Davis rode the horse was at Aqueduct in late March 2022, a mile in a state bred optional 80. He finished 2nd by 3/4 length that day, and again he got caught late, but he ran his heart out. I do think getting Dylan Davis up should be an advantage for him, because every time Dylan has ridden the horse, the horse really shows up and shows up with the good buyers. He has hidden forms that could, like I said, that could win here. He's training well at Saratoga. Give him a shot on the ticket. I think the 5 horse Saflo's Mission for Jose Lascano and Linda Rice is your second likeliest winner. Most recently on the 3rd of June, going mile 16th in the state bred allowance race, she finished 3rd by 3.25 lengths that day, and she just kind of stalked that day. Needed something more. It was just a weird race for her. Prior to that, on the 5th of May, going a mile in the state bred allowance race, she finished 2nd by half a length, and again was on the drive excelling, but then just kind of hit the wall late, just couldn't stay the mile. And then 10th of March at Aqueduct, 1 mile in an allowance race, she finished 3rd by 3.5 lengths that day, and just kind of hit the wall there. But coming here off some decent runs, likes Belmont, and the Linda Rice horses have been really firing the last few days or so, except that one yesterday that lost it at like 4-5 in the second race. Other than that, they've really been firing. I'll give this horse a shot at 3-1 here. But to recap my selection for the 6 from Belmont, I'm going to take the 4 horse Pineapple Man, give kudos to the 5 horse Safalo's Mission, 4-5-1-2 Super, 4-5 in your multi-race. Let's get to the 7th event from Belmont, which is a start allowance race per $65,000, race for 3-year-olds and upwards, never start for a claim price $50,000 or less, or blah, 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 blah. We have a field here of 8 horses going 1,400 meters or 7 furlongs on the main track. I'm going to take the 6 horse here, Magical Ways, as top selection. 6-3-8-2 Super. 6-3-8-2 Super. Top selection 6 horse, Magical Ways, is 4-year-old colt by McLean's Music. David Jacobson trains. Jose Ortiz gets the mount. The horse's most recent ad came 13th of May. Belmont, mile 16th, start allowance race 50,000. First time winners, first time over a little bit of a longer route trip. It wasn't a recipe for success. He finished 7th by 48 and a quarter lengths that day. He completely missed a break, or didn't break, and he was behind the A-ball. He got rushed out of the gate after that, and then just, walked home. It wasn't the day to win. Cutting back to 7 furlongs, not the world's toughest start allowance race. He's in a better spot to win. 2 back in the main, claiming 40,000 at Aqueduct, 1 mile 21st of April. The horse won by 1 3/4 lengths that day and basically won in a trot home easily. Walked under the line, a 72 buyer. It was the best of the horse's career, 95 cents a dollar. He was supposed to win, and he did just that, stepping down to a maiden 40 from a maiden special weight the previous race. Aqueduct 7 furlongs, 3rd of March. He finished 4th by 8 lengths that day. He didn't have the best beginnings, and he was quarter horse to get good position, and then he just kind of hit the wall late. It wasn't his day to win. And then early January at Aqueduct, 7 furlongs in the main special weight. He finished 3rd by 7 lengths that day. He was just wide, just not really excelling that day. Since dropping down, he's really, that one race where he won at Aqueduct has really been really nicely done. Even those races where he was losing at Aqueduct, he was always running these game-up races early on, then just got beat by the faster horses late. But, I think he's in his right spot. Back to 7, what he wants to do. At 6-1, I think he has a live chance of winning. I think the 3-horse Leonidas for Todd Beadle and Junior Alvarado, the Penn National shipper, has a strong chance. Most recently, an optional 50 at Laurel over the 7 on the 10th of June. The horse won by 2 lengths from a tracking trip. He took off clear. A very nice run coming home with an 80 buyer. And then a Penn Nat, 6 furlongs in allowance race, 34,000. He finished 7 by 6 and a quarter lengths that day, and he just never really got into it. He kind of hit the wall that day. And then his previous race here in New York at Aqueduct on the turf, he just never really got running late. But coming here off of a decent run, training well, some speed into him, I'll give him a shot here on the ticket. He could definitely win here. But to recap my selection for the 7 from Belmont, going to take the 6-horse Magical Ways. Give kudos to the 3-horse Leonis. 6-3-8-2 Super. 6-3 in your multi-race. The featured 8th race now from Belmont. It is the Hudson Valley Stakes. It's going for a purse of $125,000, raced for 4-year-olds and upwards here, state breds. We have a field of 11 horses entered. 9 through 11 are MTO, so 8 will go. 1,600 meters or a mile on the Belmont Widener Turf Course. Going to take the 5-horse Cold Hard Cash as the top selection. Let's go 5-4-2-7 in the superfecta. 5-4-2-7 Super. Top selection of 5-horse Cold Hard Cash. The 6-year-old gelding by McLean's Music. Linda Rice trains. Jose Lascano gets them out. Against Open Company, the horse ran the Red Smith at Aqueduct. Mile 3/8 in their turf course, 26 November, and lost all chances on the Wednesday they drew the race because he was breaking from post 12 at 12. He got good position out of the gate, but he had to be used a lot in that first furlong and a half or so, which cost him. He hit the wall late, finished 3rd by 4.5 lengths. He outran his 30-1 odds, but he needs to have a better post. He's coming here off the bench, facing state breds with a better poster, gets a little closer. He's, like I said, I think he's in a spot to win. 2 back in optional 80 at Aqueduct, mile 8th on the 10th of November. He finished 2nd by 3.5 lengths behind a tone. He went on to win next start out on the Pegasus, so he's a decent horse. This horse just kind of stalked him all the way around the race course and just needs something more. But he ran his heart out that day. And then the Mohawk at Aqueduct, mile 16, 30 September. He finished 2nd by 2.5 lengths that day, 3rd of October. He just, didn't get out of the gate so clearly. He just kind of stalked, and he couldn't catch City Man, who was freaking in the fall last year. Prior to the AT Cole at Aqueduct, he finished 3rd by 3/4 length behind City Man, who just, had the better trip than him. He had a little bit of tough trip into the clubhouse turn, which cost him there. And then the Sword Dancer over the mile and a half. He finished 7th by 9.5 lengths that day, and he just completely couldn't keep up with those better horses. He won at the Spa last summer, going a mile and a quarter on the dirt off the turf on the Saab and Option 62, winning by 5 lengths. He really put on a show that day. But, he's back in a distance that he wants to go, I think. Coming mile against state breds, I think he has a massive shot of winning. At 5-1, I'll use him. I think the 4-horse, Jerry the Nipper, is your second likeliest winner for Tom Pletcher and Jose Ortiz. Most recently in the Kingston, he nearly won. He got caught at the wire, but he ran his heart out behind City Man that day. It was his first off the bench, so he needed the race there. Prior to that, against Open Company at Aqueduct, mile 16th inner in an optional 6-2 claimer where he finished where he won by 3/4 length that day, and he basically tracked easily, a very easy run there, and then the AT Cole he finished fourth by 1 3/4 lengths where he just couldn't keep up late, but where he placed behind ever since the AT Cole, he's really become a better horse. I like the City Man place last time out at 5-2. He could definitely win. I'll give him a shot on the ticket. But to recount my selection for the 8th from Belmont's featured Hudson Valley, gonna take the 5 horse Cold Hard Cash. Give kudos to the 4 horse Jerry the Nipper, 5427 Super, 5-4 in your multi race. The 9th event, the nightcap from Belmont here on this July 3rd card. It is a maiden claiming event going for a purse, $45,000, race for 3-year-olds and upwards. State bred maiden claimings, $40,000. Field of 16 horses entered. 11 through 16 are also eligibles. And if they just draw another race with those 6 horses with those also eligibles, it would be a great race. But they're going 1,700 meters or mile 16th on the inner turf course. I'm going to take the 5 horse Conquest as a top selection. 5-9-1-7 the superfecta for me. 5-9-1-7 super. Top selection 5 horse Conquest, this 4-year-old gelding by Nyquist here. John Kimmel trains. Kendrick Carmouche gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 29th of May at Belmont, 7 furlongs in main special weight, 75,000, and he finished 11th by 14 lengths that day. And he just, he got out of the gate okay. He got out of the gate a little crappy that day. Race 4 got out okay, but he didn't get out of the gate so clearly that day. He just kind of stalked and just completely hit the wall. That was a very tough race. Back to State Breds, 40,000 claimers. He's in a better spot to win. 2 back on the 21st December at Gulfstream, mile 16th in the main special on the Torpedo. Finished 6 by 8 lengths that day. He set the pace and then just kind of hit the wall. It wasn't his day to win. And then a mile at Aqueduct on the inner turf course in the State Bred main special weight. He finished 7 by 7 3/4 lengths. Again, he got bumped out of the gate, which cost him. He didn't show that forwardly pace that he has. He has some speed. If he breaks well today, he could be forwardly paced. And I think the speed really holds up going mile 16th here at Belmont on the inner. So I think he has a good chance of winning. Also getting Kendrick up, who's a very speed favoring rider, suits him up a lot. I'm gonna use. Before we go any further, again, the power went out, so hopefully this is all getting recorded decently. That's why the video just kind of crapped out. But we have a few more horses to talk about. We're going to talk about the 9 horse Barry the Builder for Rudy Rod and Joel Rosario. Most recently in a main of 40,000, he finished 5th by 6.5 lengths going a mile 16th here at Belmont, where he just kind of stalked and kind of hit the wall late. I just don't think maybe the widener was his course. I think coming to the inner, where it's a little bit more speed favoring, he's probably going to leave from an outside gate, so he'll probably get good position. I think he's in a better spot to win. He's proven that he could show some speed. He's gonna have, like I said, he's gonna have to overcome a wide poster, but I think he has the speed to do it. At 5-1, I would use him here, and also going to the 1 horse Zapruder for Linda Rice here. First time in the Rice barn, most recently here at Belmont in a main special week, going mile 8 here earlier last month. The horse finished 8th by 8 1/4 lengths that day and had a horrible poster. A 10-10 was wide throughout and just couldn't keep up that day. Coming here could save some ground. If there's going to be a pace meltdown, I think this horse get a piece of it. I'll use this horse on the ticket at 9-2, and also keep an eye on for the 7 horse. May this be the one for Mark Henning. Nearly would have won actually if the horse had a better poster going mile 16th here last month, and then prior to that at Aqueduct, another race where the horse was just drawn stupidly wide. Gets a better poster here today. Down to a maiden 40 again, back to the green stuff. It wouldn't surprise me at 7-2. Let's use this horse to get out in all these pick 4s and pick 5s here. So to recount my selection for the nightcap here on this Monday afternoon for Belmont, I'm going to take the 5 horse here, Conquest, 5-9-1-7 super, 5-9-1-7 all in the, well not all, but 5-9-1-7 in the pick 4 to end it off. So good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck everybody.